It's time for the Nebraska Women's Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by BMO.
At top of the left wing, Darian White reverses it deep right side. Kendall Coley's going to take a three. You betcha! A triple for Kendall Coley.
Nice shot by Kendall. Good ball reversal by Nebraska.
High lob underneath. Caught by Markowski. Puts it up, and it counts! And a foul. What a dandy play from the side. Markowski hit the brakes. Nisley for three. You betcha! On the right wing. She's on fire. Length of the floor to go. She's having problems. Gets it in. It's deflected. Huskers get it back. Potts puts it up and scores. The Husker defense gets 2 points, and the Huskers lead by 5. Yep. What a play. Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz. Knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot. 6 to shoot. Shelley for three. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left. A Folter bounces it in. Out top, Caitlin Clark. Way away from the basket. Shelley on her. She steps back. Misses that three. A Folter the rebound. Gets it out to Kate Martin at the buzzer to tie it. Huskers win! You betcha!
Now with Amy Williams, here's your host, Jessica Coody.
Welcome into our Nebraska Women's Basketball Hour. I just love listening to those highlight calls back with Matt Coatney. What a huge win for the Huskers over Iowa on Sunday, which we will talk to the head coach about. But most recently, tough win last night on the road for Nebraska women's basketball, falling 80-47 at number 2 Ohio State. So Nebraska knocks off the number 2 team in the country on Sunday. The rankings come back out. Ohio State moves up to number 2. So Huskers play the number 2 team in the country back-to-back nights and only had a day of preparation, had to travel on the road. So not an easy turnaround. And that Ohio State press, boy, it is something else. It is tough to deal with, especially the first time seeing it. And you got a lot of young players that hadn't got a taste of that yet, and Ohio State, I think, and I was talking with Jeff Greash earlier today and then chatted with Matt Coatney, and both of them are in agreement with me that Ohio State probably the best team in the Big Ten, and certainly is poised and set up to probably have the deepest run of any team in the Big Ten in the NCAA tournament. So that was a tall task for the Huskers last night, coming off the emotional win over Iowa. They fall 80-47 and 30 turnovers to just 18 field goals. They didn't have a single player in double-figure scoring. Alexa Markowski did have 16 rebounds, and they still won the rebounding battle, which Nebraska usually does. They are still on top of the Big Ten in rebounding margin and also lead in offensive rebounds, but just a really tough task at Ohio State. They'll look to bounce back at Purdue coming up on Saturday. We're going to talk about all of that coming up here with head coach Amy Williams, and then we also have another special guest, Jace Henderson, a part of Amy Williams' staff. She's going to step in as well because we're going to let Coach Williams get out of here a little bit earlier and go watch Kennedy play basketball here tonight. So we've got a lot to get to. I'm going to step aside, get to our first break, and then we will have Coach Williams here in studio. You could win a 2024 Porsche Macan from Porsche Omaha this season. 4 lucky Husker fans will have a chance to win a 2024 Porsche Macan if they make a full court putt at halftime at one of 4 home men's basketball games this season. For more information and the official rules, go to www.huskers.com/putt. We're back with head coach Amy Williams coming up right after this.
I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program. I'm recruiting for the team, and I want it to be the finest team in America. I'm looking for someone like you to be a teammate's mentor, someone who is willing to reach out to a child and make a difference. Meeting with a student once a week at school can make an impact in their life and in the community. We want you to join our team. Go to teammates.org to apply today.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing, or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Woodhouse Buick is bringing you more for the new year. With every new Buick purchase from Woodhouse, we're including 3 years of scheduled maintenance. Plus, with our current lease offers going on now, you'll save even more. Save up to $5,000 off MSRP plus 0.9% APR for 36 months on the 2023 Buick Envision Essence all-wheel drive. With approved credit, must finance with GM Financial. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires March 4th, 2024. See dealer for details.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. As we welcome you back to our Nebraska Women's Basketball Hour, joined by the head coach, Amy Williams. Coach, thanks for being here.
Yeah, excited to be here with you, Jess. Thanks.
Congratulations, first of all, on the win over Iowa, which I do want to talk about, but you guys just coming off the tough loss at Ohio State. Boy, that pressure, their defense is really, really good. How much did that kind of cause you guys some fits from the start?
Well, clearly, we felt like, it was really a disappointing game with the way we handled turnovers. Welcome to the Big Ten, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the only place probably in the country where you can knock off the number 2 team in the country on Sunday and then bounce back and play the number 2 team in the country on Wednesday night. And, obviously we knew it was going to be a really challenging, tough road game, but to get there in person and see, a team with 6 grad seniors, 2 redshirt seniors, just talented, long, strong, physical, experienced and deep, and we did not handle that well. Looked like a shell of ourselves, and it kind of just snowballed. But something that we feel like we're going to put in the rearview mirror and continue to look at the exciting things that are in front of us and be able to bounce back in a big way.
You know, we've talked a lot about that, but talk about just two completely contrasting teams that you play, Iowa and Ohio State, and just, again, how physical and the press. And the first time that you saw Ohio State, too. So when you go back and watch film, how can you, your team get better from that, learn from that, so that they do, maybe if you do match up with Ohio State or a team like that again, maybe handle that kind of pressure and defense a little bit better the next time around?
Yeah, well, we already know that it's not going to take us seeing Ohio State again. You know, we're going to play Purdue this weekend, and they're going to press. And they just came off a really big road win where they pressed the majority of the game at Northwestern. They pressed us at home. So we can expect that teams are going to watch that film and think that that's a key for us and to defend us. And so it's something that we know we're going to have to figure out in a hurry. But there were multiple possessions when we've watched the film back that we feel like we had one or two or sometimes even three players not in the right positions or where they needed to be doing what they needed to be doing to make themselves available to help us with that pressure. And so we feel like it's something we can most definitely learn from and improve moving forward.
And then a quick turnaround, you just mentioned it. So how do you guys, you know, I'm sure you were saying the same thing. Okay, we got to close the chapter on Iowa, and now you got to close the chapter on Ohio State. It's kind of, again, welcome to the Big Ten, right, where you just got to get ready to go and you hit the road again at Purdue. How do you manage just kind of the mentality of it at this point of the season where, hey, it's on to the next?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking all season long about response and the way that you respond to plays, to moments, to practice situations, to the highs, to the lows. That really matters, and that is what leads to consistency. And so it's something that we feel like we've been preaching and talking about, and now it's time to practice what we preach and figure out a way to have a really positive response and bounce back and stay locked in and focused to what's in front of us.
Well, we have to go back and talk about the Iowa win. We haven't had you on since then, but man, what a day, what a moment for this program. Just after you were able to kind of take it all in, how did you reflect on that moment and the win and everything that you got to experience on Sunday?
Yeah, that was just a really exciting thing for our program. We had a lot of people contributing to that win. A lot of things came together, had some huge plays down the stretch just from, freshmen like Natalie Potts, Logan Nisley kind of stepping in and making huge plays in the fourth quarter, but then obviously none bigger than that shot by Jazz Shelley. I really feel like, you could look at Alexis Markowski's like 3-point shots when we were down by 14 and those things that, everybody did to put us in the position to be back in the game for Jazz to hit that big shot to give us a lead, and then to have some defensive stands down the stretch to secure the win. It's just awesome for our fan base. Like, we just wanted to get involved in being able to provide some excitement for Husker Nation and reward them for all of their loyalty to us as a team, and just so fun to be a part of.
Yeah, and I talked to a few of your players after, and it's hard to just point out because everybody's contributions were just absolutely monumental for that win. But you go back to making the decision to throw the junk defense at Caitlin Clark and the job Kendall Moriarty did for you guys on the defensive end. How big was she during that stretch?
Yeah, I thought Kendall was outstanding and just played with great confidence. She knew exactly what we needed of her. And Kendall Coley, even a little bit before that, we had her for a few possessions out there just trying to be disruptive in that role and position, and then all the other people that were in the zone were really playing smart and finding the right times that to help to Caitlin, but also to be able to adjust and fly around and get to their other supporting cast and just rebound and finish the defensive possessions. And so it's a team effort all the way around.
And then Logan Nisley hit some big time threes, but her rebounding, boy, she was just a monster on the board at times, on the boards, that she got some really key rebounds for you guys.
Yeah, she's a really good rebounding guard, and we've known that from the very beginning, and we've made some certain decisions with putting her into defensive positions because of the way she rebounds the basketball. But I thought early when we were maybe struggling to score, I remember vividly an offensive rebound that she got that led to kind of a kick out three that just really sparked us when we were having a hard time getting points on the board. Those kinds of plays are really hard to put into words how much they mean in the grand scheme of the flow of a game.
You know, and again, visiting with Logan and Maddie Kroll both after the game and asking them about Jazz's shot, and she's like, they both said that's who we want taking that shot every time that you guys practice at. So that's a play that you guys had confidence in her taking, because that was it wasn't like it was a circus shot or just a prayer. That was something that you guys work on.
Yes, I mean, I think that we had come out of that timeout originally feeling like that we could go for two in that situation, and we pounded the ball inside to Lex, and Iowa came with a double team, and so I'm just really proud of Lex for being able to trust the training and to be able to find somebody open out of that double team and then come get a low side ball screen, and for Jazz to have the confidence to step back and just take that shot that she's been practicing and working on for months and months, and probably even years and years.
So you get the court storm. There's a really special moment with Kennedy. You got to share just when you're taking it all in and experiencing that. What was that like as the head coach of this program?
Yeah, it's just pretty special. I don't love getting emotional on the camera and national TV, and they asked me a question about being, what that meant to me in front of that fan base and as an alum and everything that you pour into. It's just pretty special. It kind of got me a little choked up on the camera, but then to spin around and to see my daughter and the enthusiasm on her face, just the excitement. I mean, my family, my husband, my two girls, they know everything that, we pour into this to try to have big moments like that, and to be able to celebrate that with them out on the court and in that moment with Kennedy. And she's so excited to be a part of this group and this team. And she loves Jazz Shelley. She just, I can't think of anybody better for her to look up to than Jazz Shelley, with somebody that plays the game the right way, but with class and honor. And I just a really special thing for me to have her there in that moment.
Well, the ratings came in again. You guys are playing on Fox, Big Fox, and broke a record, the most watched women's college basketball game in Fox program network history. Nearly 1.8 million viewers were watching that game. And you and I had talked about kind of embracing an opportunity, and you had to just love the way that your team walked out there and embrace that opportunity in front of a sellout crowd and then in front of that nationally televised audience.
Yeah, I mean, we're just so excited. We know that people are tuning in to watch great basketball right now in college women's basketball, but people are tuning in to see if Caitlin Clark was going to break the record. But we don't care why they were tuning in. It was an awesome opportunity for us to showcase what we know, and that's when we're playing our best and really executing at a high level and having our entire team kind of clicking on all cylinders, that we can be competitive with the best teams in the country. And for us to be able to do that in front of 1.8 million people on TV and a sold-out crowd at Pinnacle Bank Arena, just a really special time to shine.
And Jazz Shelley, the AP National Player of the Week, first Husker ever to be named that. I mean, you've talked a lot about her, but just, again, for her to receive that kind of recognition, very deserving, right?
Yeah, we feel very deserving, and something that makes, her decision to come back and be a part of Nebraska women's basketball for her 5th year just really rewarding and worth it. And we knew that, she's made her mark already on this program and our history, but that kind of just put an exclamation point and just a really nice honor for her.
All right, so closing the chapter on both those two games this week at Purdue. You guys already have played Purdue, got a win here back on January 31st. But what are the keys to this matchup to going to Purdue and picking up another win on the road?
Well, and Purdue has been playing really, really well since they played here at our place. So, we know that it's going to take a special effort. They're a really tough team to beat at home, and they've taken Ohio State and Indiana into really one-possession games down the stretch, and those games could have swung either one way or the other. And they came away with a big win over Illinois, and then just yesterday beat Northwestern on the road with a 20-plus point victory, and just they're playing outstanding in transition right now, pushing pace. They're so dangerous because they can come at you with points in the paint. They have veteran players like Caitlin Harper, who led them in scoring last night, just really a force to be reckoned with inside and very capable of stepping out and hitting threes. And then you've got Madison Layden, who's been, one of the top three-point shooters in the league. Abby Ellis, all grad seniors. Janae Terry, who just is knocking on the door of 1,000 points in her career, and she just controls the ball game. And you mix in with that some really talented freshmen. They're just a dangerous team that it's going to be a tough road game that, we're going to have to be really gritty to go win.
It's crazy. I feel like we're blinking, and here we're talking about the season winding down, and you got 2 home games left and a couple road games. But as you move towards the end of the season and you want to start playing your best basketball, certainly we saw you guys put together a really impressive performance against Iowa. What are some of the things you need to see your team start to put together here towards the end of the season?
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest thing right now that's standing out in my mind is just, taking care of the basketball and handling pressure. We didn't do that so well in our previous outings, so that's going to be something that will be critical down the stretch. And then you want to be able to really be leveling up defensively, making things really difficult for other teams and finding ways to do small little things. Teams at this point in the season are well aware of what you're trying to do with your initial looks, and so you've got to be able to just clean up small things to be able to execute and look at second and third and fourth options within the flow to be able to execute and get the opportunities that you want offensively and to continue to put points up on the board.
All right, we're going to let you get out of here, go be a mom tonight. Watch Kennedy play as her senior season is winding down, which is also crazy to think about. But before we do, Jace Henderson is going to come in and fill in a segment for us here on our women's basketball show. Tell us about Jace and what kind of addition she's been to your staff.
Well, Jace is an absolute rock star in the making. She's going to be an absolute phenomenal young coach. She just is, she's our director of player development, and she's incredibly knowledgeable about player development and skill development, and she sees the X's and O's of the game. She's the daughter of coaches and has been around the game her entire life. And is just incredibly knowledgeable, but you're going to see, she just has an absolute shine about her that just draws people in. Her ability to connect with our players and connect people. She's just been such a huge addition to our team and our program with what she brings every day. Just her work ethic, her knowledge for things, her willingness to just help out wherever we need help. But above all else, she's a connector of people, and that's a special thing that is hard to teach. And I feel incredibly honored to have her as a part of Nebraska women's basketball.
We're excited to get to know her here in just a few minutes. Coach, thanks for your time, and enjoy that basketball game tonight.
Thanks, Jess.
All right, that is head coach Amy Williams joining us here on our Nebraska women's basketball show. BMO is a proud sponsor of the Huskers Radio Network. We're committed to helping our customers make real financial progress. To learn more, visit BMO.com. We're back with Jace Henderson coming up right after this.
Woodhouse Cadillac, where luxury meets performance. Discover the seamless blend of design, innovation, and power as you explore the 2024 Cadillac lineup. Lease a 2024 Cadillac XT5 Luxury for $599 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, must have current Cadillac financial lease and Costco membership prior to January 1st, 2024. $2,500 down, plus first payment and $299 document fee due at signing. Offer expires February 29, 2024. See dealer for details.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Kidwell is celebrating 75 years of business, and they know how many network issues you and your team have to resolve. Let them help. Kidwell and Juniper leverage Mist AI to provide more visibility, flexibility, and scalability into your network to quickly get rid of those trouble tickets, heighten the user experience, and deliver reliable wireless access to customers and employees to simplify operations for network administrators. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus 1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Kidwell is celebrating 75 years of business, and they know how many network issues you and your team have to resolve. Let them help. Kidwell and Juniper leverage Mist AI to provide more visibility, flexibility, and scalability into your network to quickly get rid of those trouble tickets, heighten the user experience, and deliver reliable wireless access to customers and employees to simplify operations for network administrators. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Welcome back to our Nebraska Women's Basketball Hour. I'm Jessica Coody, and now excited to be joined by Jace Henderson, the Director of Player Personnel Development and Influence. We just heard Coach Williams just raving about you and the job that you've done for her staff so far. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been really fun so far to just be a part of Husker Nation.
And stepping in to let her go be a mom tonight.
Yes, exactly.
What is that like, just kind of seeing her balance being a mom of a senior daughter and also a recruit that's going to come here and wear the Husker uniform?
Yeah, no, I love getting to watch her be a mom. Honestly, I see it so much in how she coaches. I was so fortunate to be raised. My dad was a college basketball coach, and so I was kind of a part of something similar, just getting to be a part of a program from a young age. And so I see that just in Kennedy's passion for the game and getting to watch her mom be that passion, fiery person that she is when she's out there leading our team. So it's fun to get to now tell Amy stories about what it was like growing up for me. And I know Amy is also a coach's kid. So it's fun to get to connect on that.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, well, let's get to know you a little bit. You're from Montana, came from Montana. But tell us about your role in the Director of Player Personnel and Development and the Influence, and kind of what that role is. You were elevated full-time last summer. You came on as a graduate assistant, right? But just kind of what your role entails for this Husker women's basketball team.
Yeah, no, I get to really help kind of be an assistant to the assistants in a lot of ways, just helping in some of our recruiting efforts, official visits, things like that, and then being that right-hand person on all of our skill development, individual workouts with our team, and then the influence side, just getting a little bit of time with Jonathan and getting to kind of help promote our players, their personal brands and kind of what they're passionate about. That's definitely something I want to keep diving a little deeper into. But yeah, it's just been great this first 6 months. It's a new position that we've created. And so I love Amy's ability to let me be creative and like us bounce ideas off each other, and then like how can we make our program the best from this position. So
that's awesome. What brought you to Nebraska? How'd you wind up here, and why'd you want to stay here?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories. So I got to know Tom Gailey. I was coaching an AAU team, and he came up to me just during one of the only times you can actually approach AAU coaches, and just gave me a big hug. He knew my family, and you know, we got to talking, and he asked if I wanted to get back into college coaching, and I was like, yeah, I think so. The next day, I get a call from Amy Williams, and it's a day that she could be talking to all her top recruits, and she probably was all day long, honestly, but she spent the time, an hour and a half, just really getting to know me, getting to know what I was about, sharing a lot about herself. And so I think just like her genuine care and like her ability to kind of connect with me right off the bat made me just like gravitate so deeply to the program. And first time ever moving out of the state of Montana, and I'm so glad that I just took that little leap of faith to go be a part of this, because watching her lead has been a big piece of why who I want to be as a coach.
Oh, wow. What a great story. So you came from college coaching in your blood, but you played college basketball. You also played a year of college volleyball, right?
Yeah.
And you were a heck of a volleyball player, Gatorade Player of the Year in Montana twice.
Yeah.
How did you land on basketball then, if you were such a volleyball player?
Yeah, this is kind of almost embarrassing. So I loved like both sports so much, but I always have wanted to be a college basketball coach. And so I chose college volleyball, and then I'm kind of in this in-between where I'm like, I still miss the game so much. And I want to end up being a college basketball coach, but I'm playing college volleyball. Like, I don't know if those really go together. And so I reached out to the head coach at the time at Montana and just asked, you know, what are my likelihoods of being a walk-on? And I was fortunate enough that he gave me a scholarship, and I decided to stay with basketball, and the rest is kind of, you know, fell into the right pieces.
Wow. So would you say you're a better volleyball player than basketball player?
I had to really work at becoming a better basketball player in college, and I'm really like grateful for that. Yeah, I was probably a better volleyball player coming into college. Yeah.
Well, so how neat has it been for you then to have the kind of perspective of volleyball here at Nebraska?
Oh my gosh, it just like gives me chills. Like, I grew up just not having a ton of representation of like how cool the game is. Back home in Montana, it was just like such a like just kind of newly started sport, and it wasn't celebrated like it is here. And it's just so cool to see like little girls in the stands watching, and I've just loved that piece of being a part of Husker Nation. It's just like the representation and the empowerment of women's sports.
So did you always know you wanted to be a coach then? And how did you decide you wanted to do it as opposed to just following in parents' footsteps?
Yeah, I definitely did. I was just lucky to I played 3 sports growing up, and I kind of got to be the leader in a lot of those situations. And so I knew I loved that piece of being a part of a team and helping kind of like achieve something together. And then as I got into college coaching, my first season was during COVID. And so it was just a lot of challenges and a lot of questions of like, wow, this is a lot harder than it looked growing up. And as I leaned into like, yeah, I want to be someone who embraces those hard things because of empowering young women and helping them see like how embracing hard work and how embracing hard times makes you a better person. I think that told me, yeah, I'm in the right profession, and this is exactly what I want to do.
Wow. So you were a setter.
Yeah.
So how good is Bergen Riley?
Oh my gosh, get me going. I'm like a huge fan, and I try really hard because she's friends with our freshmen, and so I'm really not trying to be that weirdo who's like, I think you're so incredible, but obviously she's just a stud.
She was there. I know Harper Murray was there on Sunday for the Iowa win, the men's basketball team. How neat has that been for you to see just kind of the support of this women's basketball program, really the overall athletics department, how much each other is supportive of one another and really rooting for each other's successes?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a big stage what each of those athletes have been a part of, and then to just see how all of them just make it just so simple, and just like how they're so close as friends, and they just like support each other, and they make it just I think like watching each other have those successes, watching volleyball go and being a part of a national championship caliber team helps our freshmen like dream that big, and then have that support of that mentality from volleyball, from men's basketball. I just think that that's really contagious, and so it's been cool to see them pour into each other.
So what was it like for you to be a part of Sunday's win and the court storm? And everybody was celebrating, but saw some pictures of you with with some of the players. Just how special was that for you to get to be a part of it?
It was just incredible. Honestly, like leading up until that game, like our program knew that was a win we can have, and that we were capable of that, and just to be able to put 40 minutes together and just some gritty basketball and just multiple efforts from our whole entire team. Like I love that about this group. I think they really lean into each other, and so and they want to bring their best so that we can have those big wins. So it was just great to be able to hug them afterwards and have it all to come to fruition. Definitely something that will be a highlight in my coaching career.
To be able to be a part of a court storm and the sellout at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and just the growth of women's basketball, you just played it, you've been a part of it, your dad coached it. Just what's been your perspective of that and the growth? And then it's got to make you really proud to see how it continues to grow, and especially right here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just incredible to have a record-breaking crowd for women's basketball, and then to be, the most watched women's basketball game ever, record-breaking. I just think it's so cool to see that we got to be a part of that, but also it makes you hungry to like, there's still growth there. That there's still young girls that don't have an opportunity to watch and see games and these awesome like young women pouring their hearts into what they love. And so it's that balance of like, yeah, I'm proud to be a part of Husker Nation because we are doing that, and it makes me want to bring that awareness back to Montana, where I think that there could be more of that, and just continuing to grow it throughout.
Okay, one thing I want to get your perspective on, because one thing you hear from the TV broadcasters almost every night, every broadcast, is how good Amy Williams is out of timeouts, and when you go into the timeout huddle and how she draws up plays. So what's your perspective on that, how she manages drawing up certain plays in certain times, and just kind of making those big time out of bounds plays and all of that?
Yeah, that's an area I want to grow as a coach, because I just, her awareness of so many levels of what people are going to do strategy-wise, the other team, and just knowing kind of like what our opponent might be thinking, and then how to kind of take advantage of that is just something I really admire about her. And I think that she does a great job of kind of playing out multiple scenarios for our staff early in preparation to be able to then like perform in those situations. And I think just the confidence too that she gives our players to go execute, I think is a huge piece of that. Just the look in her eye, the direct terminology that she uses, and just kind of the conciseness, I think all kind of plays a part in why they just feel confident to go execute.
Oh, that's awesome. So you had a great perspective of Jazz's shot. Did you know it was in as soon as it left her fingers?
Yes. I mean, I think I've watched it so much. Like, that girl has worked for that shot. Like, I think just being in the gym with her, I've watched her make that shot, 100 times. And so I think just, like, to watch her go play loose like that and just trust her training, I think was just so fun. Like, once it left her hands, I wanted to just scream at the top of my lungs, but it's one of those moments as a coach where you're like, all right, like we got a lot of time left, and so you try to stay present in the moment, but that was one of the coolest moments I've ever seen.
So it took everybody, and there's so many good things that you could point to that played into that win, and everybody kind of played their role. But what was probably the most impressive to you of that entire performance? The defensive stops, just what is there one thing that maybe stood out to you the most in that win over Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, it's the multiple efforts and the buy-in, I think, just like to go to that box and one at times when, we haven't done that all year long. And our girls just scrambled out of it. They got rebounds out of it. Like, I think just being able to buy into each play and really chip away at that deficit to be able to get us in that game in the first place, I think was just huge. And then we had so many little things going on that a lot of people wouldn't see, but just like Logan Nisley, like getting involved to be able to rebound the ball, or just somebody boxing somebody else out so that we can get the rebound and only have one shot against a team like Iowa, who is a good offensive rebounding team, taking long shots. It's hard to rebound sometimes out of a box and one. So just little things like that, again, all five had to contribute, and our bench. Like they do such a great job of giving our good energy and helping our players see things early on the floor from just communication. So it was just a team win.
I know Coach Williams talks a lot about a response, however you respond from each, even in moments in a game. But what does that show a team when you come together like that? How much can you take away from putting together a performance like you guys did against Iowa?
Yeah, it builds your belief. You start to see, like we've talked about, all these little messages throughout the year come together. And I think just like, for us, it's continuing to build that and just know that that's the level that we've raised this program to, and we're going to keep it there, but not stop there.
So we just heard Coach Williams talking about disappointing at Ohio State. The turnovers got to be better there. But how do you see this team responding? And even the coaches too. How do you bounce back from that and get ready to go on the road and try to get a win on the road at Purdue?
Yeah, I think we've talked about response so much this year. We talk a lot about it can't be one missed box out. Like one time if you miss a box out, your person gets an offensive rebound. Those add up quickly. I think then another person gets a missed box out. Well, now they have 2 offensive rebounds. And I think just more so some of that stuff of cleaning up some things and not taking it so like 30 turnovers and just being so dragged down by it. I think we have to just be able to take what we need to learn from this loss and some of the turnovers that we had and our press break and move forward and be able to have confidence that we're the team to beat Iowa and we are a team that needs to learn from Ohio State. We're both. And so there's just a piece of finding that balance and moving forward.
Oh, I love that. I love that. How's it been coaching in the Big Ten and being in the Big Ten?
Oh, it's so incredible. What a competitive just dynamic conference. And what I've loved, I was just saying to some coaches outside, is just like to be at the Big Ten, but to still be in a place like here where it's so personal. Like people are just still so like, they get to know you. Like I feel like I know you, Jess, and it's just, we don't get a ton of time together, but it's just like the friendliness and things like that. But being a part of the Big Ten conference has been so fun to be watching incredible records be broke and women's basketball just be elevated to a new level and women's sports in general. So
I love it. Well, great perspective. Appreciate your time. See, that was easy, right?
Yeah, so easy.
You have to come back again.
Perfect.
Jace, Henderson, appreciate your time and best of luck this weekend as you guys hit the road again at Purdue on Saturday.
Thanks, Jess.
All right, again, that is Jace Henderson, Director of Player Personnel Development and Influence with Nebraska Women's Basketball. We got to step aside for a break here on our Husker Women's Basketball Show. Dorothy Lynch, home style and light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 coming up right after this.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate, America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Kidwell is celebrating 75 years of business, and they know how many network issues you and your team have to resolve. Let them help. Kidwell and Juniper leverage Mist AI to provide more visibility, flexibility, and scalability into your network to quickly get rid of those trouble tickets, heighten the user experience, and deliver reliable wireless access to customers and employees to simplify operations for network administrators. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome to back to our final segment here of our Nebraska Women's Basketball Show. I'm Jessica Coody. Had a text on the text line. Of course, it wouldn't be a Nebraska Women's Basketball Show without a text from Art in Los Angeles. He said, that meant the world to me and all the Husker fans when after the Iowa game, Amy Williams said in the post-game interview how thankful she is to be the coach. Please tell her back at you. I will let her know, Art, and she'll be glad to know that you texted in. Also had a question on our chat asking what Amy's daughter Kennedy will be playing when she comes here to Nebraska. She's actually planning on playing two sports, both basketball and softball for the Huskers. And I asked Coach Williams about that right after Kennedy had signed, and she said they're still kind of working through navigating what the plan is, how they'll balance both of those. But right now, plan is for both to be on both teams, and certainly will probably help both teams as well. So I wanted to get to a couple things here in our last segment. We talked a lot about the upcoming schedule at Purdue, but just 4 games left for this Nebraska women's basketball team and just 2 at home. And one of those games, of course, Senior Day, that will be against Minnesota on February 24th, so a week from this Saturday. So you go at Purdue this Saturday, which we've talked a lot about that matchup, Northwestern, Minnesota, Illinois. So 4 very winnable games for this Nebraska women's basketball team. Look at the standings, and Ohio State's at the top, Indiana, Iowa. Nebraska currently 4th in those Big Ten standings. And then the teams at the bottom is Rutgers, Northwestern, Purdue, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois. So certainly some winnable games for Nebraska coming up. And if you remember that Minnesota game that Nebraska lost to Minnesota at Minnesota on the road back on January 14th, 62-58. Huskers were trailing by 13 at half. They go on a 17-0 run, but just gave up a couple of big plays at the end. But that would be a big win to, kind of avenge that loss here later on in the season. Chatted with Matt Coatney earlier today, and we're going to hear from him coming up on tomorrow night's show and kind of dive into a little bit more of the NCAA standings and the Huskers moving forward. But, he had talked about that Minnesota game and, avenging that loss and how the committee, when they're looking at what the teams do and putting teams into the NCAA tournament, that they look at the last 5 games, they look at the last 10 games. And so, certainly this last stretch here is really important for the Huskers and some very winnable games for Nebraska coming up here to close out the season. Charlie Cream, who has the bracketology out on ESPN, kind of what we talk about with the men's bracketology, changes from day to day depending on the wins and losses of teams. But, take it for what you will. But currently right now, today, he updated that bracketology, and he has Nebraska as a 9 seed and would be facing number 1 seed in the second round if they advanced in the NCAA tournament, NC State. So a lot of that can change here over the next few weeks. But right now, Nebraska women's basketball, according to Charlie Cream, is absolutely in the field of 64. They are number 33 in the net rankings, so that certainly is good for them. But big stretch coming up here as they have just 4 games left to close out the season. It's crazy. I feel like we just started the season, and now here we are talking the postseason. But you can still get some tickets to watch this team in action coming up over the next couple of weeks before they will head to the Big Ten tournament. How great was Jace Henderson? We heard Amy Williams saying you could hear she's a upcoming star and that she's so appreciative of her being on her staff. I think you could hear that in our interview. It was really cool to get to know her a little bit. One of the things that we had talked about outside of the interview is she and Jace really said that she pinches herself sometimes, that how early on in her career she can be a part of a staff like Amy Williams and learning the ropes from someone like Amy Williams. And she said one of the things that Coach Williams told her very early on when she first hired her is one of the things that she's so blessed to have been surrounded by such a great staff, and that one of the things she really tries to do is empower her staff and let them do their job. And, so I think that was one of the things that Jace said, is just learning how to get the right people and then trust them to do their jobs. And then each day you want to be the very best at your individual role in individual jobs. But certainly you can see why she's been such a great addition to her staff. And that was a new role that they created last summer. And so an evolving role, but I know that Jace is really well liked and appreciated on this staff, and it was great to get to chat with her. And Jim in Columbus echoes that. He said that was a great interview. So she is fantastic. I love Coach Williams' staff. We've had a few of them here on the show over the last year, and they've been so great to me. So cannot say enough about them. And hey, still lots of basketball to go. We just have 4 regular season games. We got the Big Ten tournament, and certainly at this point looking like an NCAA tournament team. So they got to finish up here strong, and they'll say 1 game at a time, but certainly over these next 4 games, a big stretch for Nebraska women's basketball. All right, that will wrap up hour number 1. Coming up in hour number 2, we're going to hear the latest from our nutrition podcast. We're going to hear from Kristen Coggin, the director of football nutrition, and all the latest things that are going on with the Husker football team in that regard. And we're going to also catch up with Nate Rohr. Big weekend coming up, weekend number 2 for Nebraska softball. First weekend for sure without Jordy Ball. So we're going to hear how all that looks coming up for Nebraska softball. Keep it here on Sports Nightly, and buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Good evening. I'm Henry Goodwin, and our sports sticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Earlier today, the Big Ten announced their volleyball schedules. Although the additions of Oregon, UCLA, USC, and Washington will bring the conference up to 18 teams, the schedule will remain a 20-game schedule with 10 home games and 10 away games. Nebraska will play 3 opponents, both home and away: Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Double play opponents were determined with consideration for competitive balance, geography, and rivalries. The Huskers will host Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, and USC. Nebraska will travel to Maryland, Michigan State, Northwestern, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Washington. After going scoreless in the fourth quarter against Nebraska, Caitlin Clark looks to make history tonight against Michigan, as she is just 8 points away from breaking the women's NCAA career scoring record. That game is currently underway. In Big Ten men's basketball news, there are 2 games on tonight. Rutgers and Northwestern are in a close one. Northwestern leads 44-41 midway through the second in Piscataway, and later tonight, number 2 Purdue hosts unranked Minnesota. Our sports sticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Goes off the bounce, goes behind her back, works foul line, Potts for 3, top of the key. You betcha! Natalie Potts, the Big Ten Freshman of the Week with a triple.
Getting a hand on it was Jawan Gary. Wilcher scoops it up now to Williams across the timeline. Williams to the trailing Wilcher, fumbled it, got it back. Drives to the baseline, 15-footer up. Got it! We got a tie ball game!
8 on the shot clock. Darian White, right wing, needs help. High lob underneath. Markowski gets a double team. Kicks to the deep left corner. Moriarty with 2. With 1. Her 3-pointer. It's back rim. It goes in. You betcha. Kendall Moriarty with a triple.
Huge shot. The pump fake by Mast. Step back 3 on the way. Got it. Holy smokes. Holy cow. The Flying Dutchman with a big 3 to tie it at 65.
Your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Well, it's that time of the year that we will be without Greg when the Huskers are traveling with baseball, because it is baseball opening weekend. So Greg is traveling with the baseball team out tonight, so I'll be flying solo the rest of tonight, and they'll be on the air bright and early tomorrow. He'll join us for a segment tomorrow night on Sports Nightly, but crazy, it is that time. How many broadcast rests do we have over the weekend? It's crazy, because we've got multiple. We got softball, 5 softball broadcasts, 3 or 4 baseball broadcasts, men's basketball, women's basketball. We got everybody on the air on Saturday. So it's that time of the year that it gets bonkers around here. But I'll try to hold down the fort for you here tonight and tomorrow night. But we got lots of fun guests lined up for you. So Henry had this in the ticker, and Caitlin Clark was 8 points away from tying the record going into tonight. And she scored on Iowa's first 2 possessions. So she is now just 3 points away from the record, and taking on Michigan right now. They were trailing, or 6-5, but yeah, already just 3 points away, looks like. Oh, nope, she got it. She broke it already. So they called a timeout, and they're celebrating it right now. I know Husker fans are really concerned about that, but she already broke the record within a matter of when Henry went on the air with the ticker to right now. So she is now the all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's basketball history. So they are celebrating right now. But at least it didn't happen here in Lincoln on Sunday. It was really neat to see the Huskers lock her down there in the fourth quarter. All right, so we have a series of nutrition podcasts that we do. And one of the episodes that we were going to try to do back in the fall, but it just got a little too crazy, was with the football director of nutrition, Kristen Coggin. But it was really a great time that we got to get her on now, because they're doing some really neat things now with the football team. And she actually assembled a staff since the last time we had her on here on the show, including hiring Julian Franklin, who is a culinary dietitian. And there's very few programs in the country that have the kind of staff that Kristen has, but also has a culinary dietitian like Julian Franklin. So we had them on recently for our Midwest Dairy nutrition podcast, and I started off with asking her about Julian and why she felt like she needed that kind of a culinary dietitian to be a part of her staff here with Nebraska football.
So one of the big things for me whenever I did take this job was I wanted a staff. Julian's been with me since COVID, so I think he has a unique addition to our staff with having that being a culinary dietitian and being able to not only talk about the food but also show people how to cook it and like how to bring some skills that I don't necessarily have. So always when you want to build a team, you want a wide variety of skills. So I think that he complemented what I wanted to build in this for our players to get not just only a dietitian but also to learn the life skills part of cooking things.
And Julian, welcome on. This is your first time in studio, so welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about your decision to want to be a part of her staff here at Nebraska.
I think it was being able to start something new in a place with a lot of resources. I felt like it would, to translate what we did at South Carolina, but on, I feel like, a bigger scale. We've, in this past year, been able to do a lot more that we thought about doing and tried to do in South Carolina that Nebraska allowed us to pull off, like the demos we're doing now. Like night and day from what we used to be up to.
Tell us about some of those things, because that was one thing that I talked to Chris about coming on, about you are doing some new things and you have changed even in the last year. So can you guys break some of that down for us?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to start with is we actually now have 6 full-time dietitians just for football, which is the only place in the country that has that. And then we also have a performance chef just for football on our staff, also in addition to Julian. So one of the biggest things we've done this time, this year that we weren't doing last year, is cooking demos. So Julian can talk a little more about how he designed them, but kind of a big thing for us is we do it with recruits when they come on visits, and we don't want to just talk about it and say we're about it and not actually do it. So right now we're doing at least 2 cooking demos a week for our guys. Between now and spring break, they'll have had 11. So some weeks we'll have a little less just because of how our schedule is, but kind of a big thing for it was on Mondays we wanted to let the older guys be able to do it virtually if they wanted, or they could come in with the freshmen. We're making the freshmen be our standard because we think it's super important if you come in as a freshman and you get all these cooking demos off the start, what are your skills going to be like when you leave here? So I think that was a big part for us was, all right, make it mandatory for the freshmen, allow the older guys to either do it at home or come in. And it's really taken off. I think we had our, I don't even know, we're on week 3, week 4?
About to hit week 4.
We're about to go into week 4, but we had our biggest one yesterday. I think at least over 40 guys show. So it smells good, the music's pretty loud, and the guys really do a great job. But kind of a big thing for us was like the Monday one is more of like a meal. So our guys that do it at home can come and pick up their kit that has all their ingredients, and then they join the Zoom and they follow along that way. Where our Wednesday one is more of a cuisine, and I can kind of pass it over to Julian about kind of how he designed it and laid it out and kind of what are some other topics. So it's really a fun space for the guys. It's fun to see them like really work together and feed off each other and be competitive, but also like the team bonding that also happens around it.
So Julian, tell me about the thought behind it, the I guess the importance of it, and why this is a passion of yours to be able to provide this for the football team.
Sure. It's like a lot of educating, and I think educating in a fun manner, something that's hands-on, something that they could take away and use outside of just football. Like Kristen said, we do the recruiting visits, so we'll do like a smaller demo, but we'll explain to them like, when you are here, we're wanting to teach you things you could take away past here. And now we're in that season. Even some people that we recruited are now doing these demos with us. And I try to give them something they could meet all skill levels, simple air fryer dishes, simple skillet dishes, but some stuff a little more complex, takes a little more prep, because I found different players are in different areas. So I just try to meet them where they're at. So ultimately, if you just learned how to cut an onion, you left the demo learning something.
So tell us, you said the last one was a really good one. What was the meal? What went into that one?
Oh, last one we did was our American theme.
Okay.
In the open kitchen style ones, I kind of just like set things out so they can come in and explore, try some new things, get creative. We had air fryer wings, huge hit. We had these patty melts I taught them how to make on Monday, also delicious. They loved those. We had some crab cakes were getting made. Someone made air fryer stuffed peppers that came out actually really good.
He crushed it. Sua.
So I think it's just, I try to give them a variety of things that they could take home with them. Like, oh, I know how to at least make a chicken parm or like a patty melt. And
because it's not like, I think people think probably, oh, you guys are giving them food all the time, but in reality, they're not here all the time. So it is probably just as important for them to be thinking about what they're putting in their bodies when they're not with you guys, right? Is that kind of the thought process?
Of course. So a big thing for us is we have a program called Husker Bucks, so we put certain money on that they can go to the grocery store and use. So a big thing for us was like, well, we want you to be able to utilize this money in the right way to buy foods that you have now learned how to cook that'll also help you work on your body composition. So I think that was a big thing. I think it's also a fun part for us with all of this is, the moms come on these recruiting visits and they see their sons cooking, and then we tell them we're going to do this, and now they're here and we send mom pictures or we call mom or dad, or, and I think it's just fun for them to see like, okay, they're doing this. I can't wait for them to come home. So it also brings like the family into realizing like we're teaching your kids something that they can also then come home and show you and take care of you.
Yeah.
But they're always not going to be with us one day. They're not always going to have them, or they're not always going to have us, and they need to know how to cook so they don't spend all their money on DoorDash or fast food or, a chef's expensive in the league, right? So you want to make sure you have those skills so when you go to the next level, you have that.
So you said Sua. Who else? Who else has been impressive in the kitchen?
Jamal Banks.
Yep, he's been really impressive. Yes. He comes by. Kobe recently impressed me. Kobe Bretts with some wings he made yesterday.
What flavor?
He made these hot honey wings. So we walked through like a habanero hot honey sauce. He seasoned them up real nice, air fried them to a great crispiness, and they just...
I would have to say Roux yesterday tried to challenge.
Did a great job as well.
Roux sauce was a hot honey also, but he had something else mixed in it. Roux, he was so excited about it.
Judy also does a pretty good job consistently too.
I would hire Judy after. That would definitely be the one. But even the freshmen, like seeing them come along, and like Grant Bricks was like, I really want to learn as much as I can. Or, really the group,
they all do a really good job. I think they they're getting more comfortable too as we've started. The first couple ones was just like a class and didn't really know what they wanted to do. I try to keep some recipes interesting so they want to jump into them. And yesterday, I don't know our exact count, but over 40.
High. Wow. Yeah, we had a high.
Over 40 people. All at once, kind of running around a kitchen, saying sharp, behind, hot, all sorts of things. You could smell everything happening at once. It's fun. A little chaotic sometimes, but it's fun.
It is, and we had Gus Felder in here last summer, but you talk about the team camaraderie, and that was one thing I heard over and over again in interviews, and just building that brotherhood off the football field. How much have you found this can be a big part of that too? Is what you guys are doing and how you guys are implementing this with this program?
I definitely think it's a huge part. That was always one of my big things with wanting to do this. We had to ask for some equipment to make this all happen. We basically take our players' lounge and make it a pop-up demo kitchen. So we had to buy some tables, we had to buy some air fryers, we had to buy some skillets. So I do think it's a place where notice the guys hanging out together, ones that may not be in the same position group or have gotten to know each other if they didn't come to this. But the other fun part is our coaches sometimes jump in there, or our coaches' kids might sometimes jump in there. Little Coop might be the best.
He's the best little
we
chef
want to recruit him at an early age for cooking with us. So he's definitely someone we would have fun work with us one day. But he teamed up with Kobe. So I think it's really the fun part is it's such a family atmosphere. And I think the guys are just so thankful to have this opportunity to learn. And it's okay if you make a mistake. You didn't waste any money. You didn't waste any of your own product.
This is the time you want to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're here to help you. Yeah.
So you had mentioned, you had to buy a couple of things, but the new facility, how much do you guys have some luxuries in there that you're going to be able to utilize too?
And the really nice thing in there is we'll have that demo kitchen up on the second floor. So it's kind of our way right now is to get them excited about it, and then being able to go in there and just even take their skills to a whole nother level. So that's going to be a huge part of that new facility. Just even the bigger space and being able to offer better options and more options. I think it's really where you can't wait to get in there. So,
how many places have that kind of like a demo kitchen and those kinds of resources?
I would say not a lot. No. I think it's come a little bit of an arms race from school to school, building facilities over facilities over facilities to offer these things because they're realizing how valuable they are.
Yeah.
And I think a luxury that we've had even since South Carolina days, we've made we've taken our space as a blank canvas and just made it happen without having the fancy bells and whistles, which is nice. I think other people seeing that value there is what's turning them to turn on, let's get a demo kitchen in here now. Let's try to make some space for players to get their hands dirty with some food, because it's intangible skills that people are realizing is making an impact off the field, which in turn makes an impact on the field.
I think even with that too, it's when they know how to make something, they're more willing. We made chimichurri steak tacos the other day, and one of the guys was like, I've never had chimichurri, and nor would I have tried it if you didn't teach me how to make it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the big thing with the demo kitchen, and now all student athletes being able to have that option is to go in there and make other things and just really get their hands dirty. Like Julian said, it's just it takes your athletic performance to another level, but it also takes your life skills to another level.
Juliana, what about just, again, the support from Coach Rohr and him being open and willing to whatever kind of ideas you guys have for this football team?
I think it's been great. Like when someone really shows their appreciation for nutrition, even food, period. Coach Rule's a foodie. And it is just a super great pat on the back, kind of just a push forward. You're confident in the steps you take because you know even if you stumble, he'll still let you take that other chance. It's not someone you're trying to convince that what you want to do is the right move. It's someone who believes in what you want to do is the right move. So having someone that believes in you makes taking the challenges and strides that much easier.
Yeah, I think it's paid off a lot too that he sees like the players are so into it and like they're taking pictures, even on our recruiting visits. Like we had one a couple of weeks ago, and that was the favorite part of the recruits was like, we really enjoyed the cooking demo. And I was like, okay, this is how we know. It's a lot of work to put them on, but it's so worth it, especially to get kids just already interested in it at that level.
So are you guys doing anything special for like teaching the guys to cook dinner for their girlfriends or wives for Valentine's Day?
Yes, not this week, but in a couple weeks I have the dinner date night demo.
Nice.
So I'll be teaching them various different dishes that are a little nicer, take a little more prep, but you have things like some lamb, a little bit of steak and scallops, a little seafood pasta, some nicer items that people could like, you don't eat every weekend, but trying to impress a friend.
We always drop, what is your saying you always say about?
Everyone loves a man that can cook. So I always let people know.
We sell that to them all the time.
Especially at like recruiting demos, like, oh, it's easy, come make hibachi or pasta. Everyone loves a man that can cook. And I mean, it's proven true.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, well, let's get into like some of the things you guys are doing now specifically. Kind of take us through, other than the demos and the cooking demos. How are you working with the team right now as they start their January workouts and kind of managing weight and all of that kind of stuff?
Of course. So a big thing we did right at the end of season was did their DEXAs, looking at their body composition, how we finish season, where do we want to go in the spring during these winter workouts, going into spring ball, where do we want to be? So all our guys right now have their current goals for their weights and body composition, and then where are their long-term goals. Right now it's amazing how some of them have taken off so quickly in the direction that we want them to take off to where they are already working on their longer-term goals. But a big thing for us this semester was just making sure that they knew what their routines were. So we kind of implemented some new software that we've been using, or just meeting with them more one-on-one. Like I actually split up all my dietitians for position groups this year. Just to give even more, not just coming from me, but all of them being around too. So I think a big thing for us is just teaching them how their setup needs to be and making sure they come to things and they're doing exactly what they need. But I think that's really the biggest, is just tons of hands-on conversations with them. Hey, seeing you're trending, but giving them the kudos whenever they definitely deserve it, but working with Mitch and Corey very closely on those kind of things. So
the last thing I had is just, you've been here a year, went through a season, just overall, how do you feel about kind of where this thing is headed and what you took away from year one?
Yeah, I'm like, I can't believe it's already been a whole year. I'm like, that's probably the biggest. I think the biggest thing that has helped us the most is the support from Coach Ruhl. I think the other part is these kids are hungry, so not just to eat the food we provide every day, but also on the field. So I think that's been fun for us, just seeing like how intuitive they are about everything that they do and how they want to be elite in everything that they do. So I think it keeps us busy for sure, because they're so into everything that they're doing nutrition-wise and just want to be so elite on the field. I mean, you can already tell we're, as Coach said it the other day, like steps way higher than we were last year. So, I think it's fun. We have a bunch of new kids and they're fitting right in, and I mean, they're pushing the older kids. So I think that's what you want, right? So.
Yep. And how about you? How excited are you kind of for continuing to grow and the future of this program?
I think it's great. I think we have some great momentum. I think we hit the ground running and found our stride. Honestly, I feel like it's going to be reassuring seeing these guys continue to go through. It's just a matter of keeping them consistent, giving them the affirmation where they need it, and push them along and let them know that they're doing great from where they're at right now. Because there's more to come, but that's not all going to be easy. But I think we are now versus where we were last year when I got here, March-ish, completely different.
I think you can even see it in their weights. Like, I mean, we have some guys that have been here 3.5 weeks, and they're already putting on like 12 pounds, or some guys that are just like taking off, and you're coming back and you're like, wow, you've put on 40 pounds in a year. Or, I think that's a big thing of just like seeing their results and how they're like, all right, but that's not good enough. I want more. And I'm like, perfect. That's what we want to hear, right?
Appreciate Kristen Coggan and Julian Franklin joining us on our Huskers Nutrition podcast, which is presented by Midwest Dairy and your local farm families. You can listen to that full episode out now on our podcast platforms and our YouTube channel. You know, Kristen is a name that has come up a lot over the last year with Coach Rohr, and really each position coach, each assistant coach that came in here and chatted with Greg throughout the football season. It seemed like, you know, just she was a rock star hire for Coach Rohr, and I know they've been really appreciative, and she's just got a lot of ideas, and now she's got this incredible staff that she's assembled. And so I know she's been a big part of this staff, and much bigger things to come for her. One of the things that I didn't talk to her about during the recording, but I asked her about Nash, and she said, I could not be prouder of the way that he's handled all of the weight loss and then just managing the weight, because with wrestling, you know, it can be a tough task to be able to cut the weight, make the weight, and then how you manage it. And she said that he's just done an incredible job and could not, she's like, do you need anything from me? Can we do anything for you? And he's just handled it just like a pro. And so then I was asking her about, you know, when he comes back to football and needs to put back on the weight, what kind of challenges that look like? And she said it will not be hard at all, and that, you know, it'll be good for him to be able to manage that and get back to where they want him to play football wise. But right now he's just been it's just been mind blowing how he's handled and managed both doing the football workouts and going in the weight room, but then also managing everything that he's got to do with wrestling. So she said it's also been crazy too, managing, because he's not the only dual sport athlete right now, but then also the track athletes too that are more of the weight gain type of athletes, and managing them as they are going to the track, but then still trying to put on some weight here during the off season. But yeah, lots to manage there for the nutrition staff, but appreciate Kristen Coggan and Julian Franklin. Again, listen to that full episode now out on our podcast platforms. Got to work in a break here on Sports Nightly. If you want to be a part of the show, 402-413-2400. 2400 Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're talking a little Husker softball up next with Nate Rohr.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Shop Woodhouse Ram during Ram Truck Month and save on the entire lineup of heavy-duty trucks. Right now, get up to $15,500 off MSRP on our lineup of 2024 Ram 2500s and 2024 Ram 3500s. The most advanced Ram heavy-duty pickups ever. Based on standard and available features offered with approved credit. Tax title license extra. Woodhouse discount of $3,644. Manufacturer incentive of $9,856. $1,000 for qualifying trade and $1,000 when financed through Chrysler Capital. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/24. See dealer for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rohr is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and we've got a busy weekend coming up here on the Huskers Radio Network. Baseball starting up tomorrow morning, basketball in the air, and Husker softball for weekend number 2. They opened up the season 2-2 in the Puerto Vallarta Challenge. They will be heading to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and will be in the Troy Cox Classic. We'll be without Jordy Ball, but we welcome in the voice of Husker softball, Nate Rohr. He's actually at the airport when we were talking to him earlier on his way out to Las Cruces, but got a chance to chat with him about this weekend and what to watch for with Nebraska softball. Nate, thanks for joining us. Let's start with the unfortunate news of Jordy Ball, done for the season, out for the year, but it seems like she's got a really good grasp on it, a perspective on it. Your reaction to the news?
Well, obviously it's very disappointing. Of course, most of the excitement for this season centered around Jordy's transferring to the University of Nebraska and all that she had been able to do in 2 years with Oklahoma. So obviously very disappointed, but really in the 6 months, 8-9 months that Jordy has been a part of Nebraska softball, we've seen that she is a young woman of very deep perspective. The desire to come home outweighed the possibilities of national championships 3 and 4. And so I think that tells you very deeply what matters to her and what's important to her. And while softball and being her best at it is very important to her, at the same time, it's outweighed by larger concerns. So I guess I'm not surprised that she has kind of that broader perspective. My understanding is that the healing process for her and the work to heal up is going to start very soon. And then, you know, to flip it back to the softball side, you certainly hope to see her back out there for the Huskers opening day of 2025.
Well, so without Jordy Ball no longer in the rotation, what does this pitching staff, what does the rotation kind of look like for the Huskers moving forward?
Well, I think there's going to be a pretty heavy dose of Kaylin Kinney, who pitched pretty well last weekend. It looked like she had recovered from the hand injury and, as we found out in subsequent weeks, a knee injury that needed repaired last summer. So I think Kaylin Kinney assumes the number one spot. Sarah Harness looked okay last week. I would expect Kinney to get 2, maybe 3 starts. I would expect Harness to get 2 starts. We'll see Caitlin Olensky, I'm sure, at least in relief, if not starting. And the injury to Jordy Ball means that we're going to see freshman Emerson Cope pitch quite a bit more than I think we would have this year. I think Cope figured as essentially the number 5 pitcher for this team, but she was a very good pitcher in high school in Topeka, Kansas. And so with Jordy's injury, everybody moves up a notch. And though I don't expect to see Cope a whole lot this season, especially this week, I think Nebraska will be very interested to see what they have and see where she is at the college level in terms of pitching.
Which is good to have because it was something that they didn't have last year, right? Some depth there at that spot.
Yeah, there are definitely some options there. There are also some things that they can do to try and extend what they have. I mean, Kaylin Kinney tends to be more of a drop baller, more of somebody who works low in the zone. Sarah Harness tends to go up in the zone. You can use those two essentially against each other and maximize their effectiveness. Caitlin Olensky has a lot of possibility as somebody who doesn't throw hard but throws with a lot of movement. So there are ways you can make this pitching staff work. Obviously, you're not going to get the production that you were going to get from a 2-time All-American pitcher by piecing it together, but you can still have an effective pitching staff.
And it certainly helps that they still have a lot of pop in the lineup, right? I mean, when you talk about you got to score runs, and certainly this lineup has proven with the veteran group that they have coming back that they can hit it pretty well too. That's got to help a pitching staff knowing that they do have the support that we saw at the end of the Puerto Vallarta Challenge last weekend.
Yeah, it felt like the lineup came together a little better toward the end of last weekend. I'll also say that Las Cruces tends to be a very favorable place for hitters. So on one hand, you walk in knowing you have to score a lot of runs. On the other hand, you know that the odds are good that you yourself can score a lot of runs. So I'm hopeful that this weekend can be a real confidence boost for a lineup that I don't know produced at a level at which you thought they could, especially early on. Of course, we recognize they faced 2 great pitching staffs to begin the year. But I feel like this can be a real feel-good weekend for the lineup, a real weekend for them to heal up heading into another very tough weekend at Cathedral City.
I was literally going to ask you that. If I remember correctly, this is a hitter's ballpark, right? Can potentially maybe see some home run balls, lots of them this weekend?
Yeah, it's definitely an offensive haven. The fences are not that deep. They're not that tall. You're at altitude, so all that tends to help out hitters. New Mexico State always presents a very good lineup, but I think that there's a little bit of Colorado Rockies effect there.
From the standpoint that it's a very favorable ballpark for offense. You're at altitude. The ball carries well there. The distances of the fences aren't very deep. So it's a great place to hit. New Mexico State's offense always has a lot of confidence to it, but I feel like Nebraska can gain quite a bit of confidence as well.
So if you look at the teams that the Huskers will be facing, going to play 5 games over 3 days, New Mexico, Montana, Sacramento State. Tell us about some of the matchups, what we should be looking for this weekend, and what the Huskers are looking to accomplish.
Well, I was chatting with Rhonda Revelle earlier today, and she mentioned that New Mexico State has a pitcher with a good amount of velocity. So that'll be a bit of a challenge for this team, but as we've mentioned, they faced 2 really great pitchers with some velocity last week in Duke and Washington. So that's not a matchup that scares me a whole lot, but it is a challenge. I mean, you're playing an Aggie team in their home ballpark. They expect to win there. So you have those two games on Friday. And then you have Montana State on Saturday and Sacramento State one Saturday, one Sunday. Honestly, it's a weekend that you expect to pick up quite a few wins and, again, gain some momentum. Of course, you wonder where this team's mindset is after the injury to Jordy Ball. But it is a weekend where you expect Nebraska to have a good amount of success, and you're certainly hopeful that they can do that heading into really a very tough 2-week stretch in their schedule. The tournament in Palm Springs is always one of the toughest in the country, and Nebraska drew very tough there. And then the weekend after that, they face Wichita State and Mizzou at home. But Missouri was really one of the stories of the first weekend of the season. So this is really one of your last chances to gain some confidence heading into the tough 2-week stretch of this non-conference schedule. And I think the Huskers will be able to do it.
Appreciate Nate Rohr joining us. He'll be on the call again starting at 3:45 tomorrow with the pregame show. First pitch at 4 o'clock. Doubleheader tomorrow with New Mexico State. They're in Las Cruces, so you can listen along on Huskers.com or on the Huskers app. All right, we got to work in a break here on Sports Nightly. You could win a 2024 Porsche Macan from Porsche Omaha this season. 4 lucky Husker fans will have a chance to win a 2024 Porsche Macan if they make a full court putt at halftime at one of 4 men's basketball games this season. For more information and the official rules, go to www.huskers.com/putt.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Well, some Husker volleyball news released today. In case you missed it, the Big Ten Conference announced the volleyball conference schedule rotation for the 2024 season today. And so Nebraska will play 3 opponents, both home and away: Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Double play opponents were determined with consideration for competitive balance, geography, and rivalry. So here is the schedule. So again, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin. The Huskers will play both home and away. Home only: Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, and USC. The road trips will be Maryland, Michigan State, Northwestern, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Washington. So so sorry for our California Huskers that we're not making a trip out to Cali next season. They are making trips to so each Big Ten school in the Central and Eastern time zone will make a single trip to the Pacific time zone during the season. So, but that trip will be for the Huskers will be to Washington and Oregon. I was also looking up what Wisconsin had. So Wisconsin's schedule, home will be Iowa, Maryland, Michigan State, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Washington. Away for Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, and USC. And then the doubleheaders there for home and away for Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Northwestern. But one of the interesting things there with Nebraska's schedule, USC going to be here in Lincoln. And it's one of the cool things about the schedule every year for Coach Cook, that when they're talking about non-conference schedules is maybe a tie to a Husker player. And we've seen former coaches, former players come back and be welcomed inside PBA. Well, now here's a conference game. Allie Batenhorst, who transferred to USC, going to play back here inside the Devaney Center. I can imagine she's probably going to get quite the warm welcoming when she comes back. But all the dates and times, all of that will be announced at a later date. But for now, at least, there's some of the away schedule and the home schedule that you can expect. And despite the additions of those teams, the schedule still remains a 20-game schedule with 10 home games and 10 away games. So that will be exciting. Also, some news coming out. Coach Cook was a part of some meetings with the legislature and about a bill, and said that potentially, obviously I'm not really up in all the kind of the politics and all of that, but and everything, all the details that went into it. But one of the things that he did say that was really interesting about it is that there's a chance that Team USA, that USA Volleyball, could be coming here to Nebraska. He said that the current training site in Anaheim is not very good, and that the head of USA Volleyball was pretty fired up about the possibility of moving to Nebraska after attending the Huskers outdoor stadium match in August. And so he said, to me, it's just a beautiful opportunity for the USA program, and volleyball, as you know, is pretty big now. So that's pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool, again, because there's so many Husker ties to Team USA, and not just currently, but in the future. You got to think some of these current Huskers will also be competing for Team USA. So that would be pretty cool to have USA Volleyball right here in Nebraska. And obviously, Nebraska does a great job supporting volleyball. Update in Iowa. the Hawkeyes did have a pretty big lead on Michigan, and then Michigan cut it to a 5-point game, but now it's at halftime, 53-41. Caitlin Clark is up to 28 points, 8 assists. So she's having a game. She not only broke the record, she is adding to it in a big way. I didn't love the press conference from her head coach, Lisa Bluter. I believe it was yesterday, and it was kind of to talk about the game tonight and Caitlin potentially breaking the record. And as we all know, we heard the audio from the post-game press conference go viral on Sunday. She wasn't happy about Big Ten protocol and that it wasn't being followed after the post-game press conference. The Husker players went first after waiting well over 20 minutes, 25 minutes probably for Iowa to go first. And then, so Jeff Grease, SID, went ahead and let Nebraska players go first and said, hey, we'll pull them off the stage as soon as Iowa gets here. And then Coach Bluter came up and was not happy about it. And so overheard it in the Huskers postgame press conference. Well, so she was asked today in her press conference about Big Ten protocols. And she said, quote, we didn't follow it before the game, during the game, or after the game. So not sure why we have protocols at all. And I don't know, it just sounds like kind of a little bit of bitter Betty there that I don't know what she's even talking about on some of the protocols that were not followed because, again, the typical protocol, and Greg and I talked a lot about this, there's a 10-minute cooling off period, but Iowa wasn't there in the press conference. And so then, they went ahead and let Nebraska go. And then also the pregame, I've been trying to dig into this, asking what she's even referring to, and nobody can seem to come up with what she might be talking about in terms of the pregame protocol. And I'm sure the in-game protocol was the womp, womp, womp that was played during a missed free throw. But again, as Greg and I talked a lot about after the game initially, that, okay, so waving the hands in the stands and the loud screaming, you got to be able to work through that. I don't know. To me, it was just kind of a little bit crazy that's what she wanted to hang her hat on. But hey, anyways, I still cannot figure out what she's talking about pregame on that, but we'll move along. All right, got to work in our final break here on Sports Nightly. We're back to wrap up the show coming up right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit newnordicusa.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Final segment here of our Thursday night edition of Sports Nightly. I do have to apologize. I've had a couple of questions asking about Cole's joke of the week, which we typically do on Thursdays. And we did say it was going to be done tonight, I think on Tuesday night, but we did not know Cole's schedule. Cole is off today, so we will not have Cole's joke of the week unless Henry has a joke prepared that he can do on the spot right now. Henry? He does not have one. So Cole will be back tomorrow. Maybe we will try. You can let us know if you want us to do Cole's joke of the week tomorrow night on Friday night's show, but unfortunately, no Cole's joke of the week tonight. Apologize for that. If you were sticking around, I should have let you guys know sooner, but no Cole's joke of the week. We will see if we can get him to do one tomorrow night. You know, he was kind of requesting an off season. I'm not sure. I don't know if we can give it to him right now in baseball season when, you know, Greg's traveling. I need him to help fill those segments, and it's just such a hit that I think he better keep it rolling. So we'll try to see if he can come prepared tomorrow with Cole's joke of the week. We talked a lot about it. It's a busy weekend coming up here on the Huskers Radio Network. It is baseball season opener time, and we will be on the air starting at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow with Greg Sharpe, Ben McLaughlin on the call for you with the pregame show, and then 11 o'clock first pitch. And then Huskers softball, doubleheader tomorrow, basketball, baseball, softball, all on the air on Saturday. We've got a fun show coming up for you tomorrow. We're going to preview the basketball matchups. Kent Pavelka and Matt Coatney will both be on the show with us. We're going to talk a little Husker Women's Wednesday. We have a podcast with Gina Jorgensen, the Husker swimmer, who has been doing incredible things. She's broken several records. Her name's on top of several of the record books. So we're going to dive in. How about that pun? How about I do Cole's joke of the week? Dive into all things Husker swim and dive with Gina Jorgensen. And then we're also going to hear from the Alex, Josiah and Becca Alec. It was such a fun conversation with them, and so we're going to hear from them. It's their personalities are so cool, and to see how they've supported each other. But one of the things that Josiah really talked about is that he is so appreciative of the opportunity to be able to come back and have kind of a second chance at being a better big brother, he says, because, you know, the first time around he'd go to games and because he had to go and mom made him go, but now he's getting to go and you see him up in the stands and he's in the overalls and he's cheering loud and they're showing him in the crowd and you can tell he couldn't be prouder of his sister. So, you know, he said it gave me a second chance, because a lot of times when you go away to college and you come back, you might not ever live together again or live in the same area again. It might just be more of a visit thing. So it gave me a second chance at it. So really cool conversation. So we will bring that for you tomorrow as well. But appreciate Coach Williams, Jace Henderson joining us, Nate Rohr, and of course that Husker Nutrition Podcast with Kristen Coggan and Julian Franklin. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Thanks to Russ and Henry also for helping me run the show here today. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow and Saturday. We'll be on the air all day for you, both Friday and Saturday. Husker baseball, 10:30 a.m. with Greg Sharpe and Ben McLaughlin. Thanks for listening, and we'll have a full 2 hours for you here tomorrow night on Sports Nightly as well. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Purchasing your next car, truck, or SUV from Woodhouse Ford is easier than ever thanks to our streamlined buying process. Shop our current inventory and offers going on now and experience the convenience of buying with Woodhouse Ford today. Save up to $7,000 off MSRP on the 2023 Ford Explorer. With approved credit, $299 doc fee due at signing. Vehicle is a retired courtesy loaner. Stock number T230335. Offer expires 2/29/2024. See dealer